Are you gonna stay and watch? Yeah? You're gonna make sure I'm doing it right? Do you wanna come say hi to the camera first? You can come say hi.
Hi.
Hi guys, my name's Chloe, otherwise known as Princess Aspian, and welcome to my channel.
Just be me.
So obviously when I started my channel, the entire intention of the channel was talking about autism and talking about autism related things and discussing my story as an autistic girl and just kind of getting the word out about all of that. As I've kind of started to make more content that is further out and vlogs and crying over One Direction.
You cry the One Direction a lot.
Yes. I've started to reach a base that is a lot wider than I ever expected that I would reach, which is so cool and so exciting and slightly daunting. But something that's really cool about it is because so many people, and you might be one of the people that are watching, might have started watching my videos from one of my vlogs or from one of my One Direction reaction videos or something else entirely unrelated to autism. And maybe you stuck around, and if you did, hi, thanks. And maybe you still don't really know anything about autism. So what I wanted to do today is create a video talking about autism and how to support your autistic friends or autistic people that you might meet in your life. I debated making this video for some time because it kind of seems a little bit belittling to talk about an autistic person as if it's a chore or as if it's hard or if it's difficult or as if it's anything other than making a normal friend. Like as if people need to learn how to be friends with us. But while it is all well and good to say treat us the same way you treat anyone else, there are a few different ways that our minds work which might make it easier for you to understand in, I guess, how to be a good mate to us. Oh, also, before we get started, if you guys like the top I'm wearing, which you can't really see that well because it's very light, if you guys like it, this is my shirt. It's my merch. I have merch. So I've had this out for a few months now and a lot of you have already bought it and sent through pictures and it's so exciting and just super, super, super cool. This one is one of the tees which has Princess Aspian on the front in a rainbow butterfly. It has different knotlets on the back. I created these to be 100% sensory friendly and 100% eco-friendly. They have no tags, minimal seams on them. They are 100% Australian created, 100% ethically made, and I'm just really excited about them. So if you guys want your own, we've got t-shirts, we've got jumpers, we've got pins, we've got the lot. If you guys want anything, make sure to go and check out the store, which we listed down below. So without further ado, here are 6 different ways on how you can be a good mate to someone that's on the spectrum. Number 1. Make an effort to understand autism. Just a little bit. Now, no one is asking you to become a complete base of autism knowledge. No one is asking you to become a psychologist and understand the way autistic brains work completely, because I'm 22 and I've lived with autism for 22 years and I still don't understand the way that I work all the time. So I can't expect my mates to understand it all the time either. Our brains are wired a little bit differently, making some things that a neurotypical person might see as normal or even maybe slightly uncomfortable completely unbearable and extremely different to us. Make an effort to understand our minds and the way that our minds work. And while that can be doing a little bit of research beforehand, maybe watching some of my videos, it does also mean talking to the autistic person individually and asking them what they might need to be able to be best supported. And maybe that's nothing, maybe that's just understanding that sometimes they have sensory differences. It's all just little things that not only are going to help you in your friendship, but it's also going to really, really help the autistic individual to be able to feel a lot more supported and a lot more safe and secure within the friendship too. Number 2. Make plans with them and please be sure to include them. Here's the thing, we want to make friends. We want to be included, whether or not our faces and our reactions showcase that a lot of the time. When I was growing up, I was always left out of birthday parties and of events and of social things, and even when I had friends, I was always left out of going out and going to do things with them. I guess I've kind of learned that friends that are like that aren't necessarily your real friends in the first place. We want to make friends. There's this really big stigma across autism that we don't want friends and that we prefer to be by ourselves. And while that can be true for some autistic people, and while that can be true for some autistic people some of the time, it doesn't mean that we don't desire friendship, and it doesn't mean that we don't desire to fit in and to be a part of something. I can promise you that even if we don't necessarily choose to accept the invitation every single time, we still want the invitation. So at least that way we know that we're the ones that declines an event rather than just not being offered in the first place. It puts it into our hands. It makes us feel like we belong, and it makes us feel like we have someone that actually cares, because a lot of the time it's really, really easy for us to feel the opposite, and it's really hard for us to initiate conversation and to initiate friendships and to initiate plans and stuff like that. And even now, I'm 22 and I have a really close group of friends, but I'm still not going to initiate anything, whether that's because I don't know how to or because my anxiety gets in the way, I'm not necessarily going to initiate a lot. But knowing I'm being thought of when other people are initiating things is a massive thing, and it then gives me the security to go, hey, maybe next time I can do the initiating. Number 3, communicate clearly. People are difficult. The English language is extremely confusing. People are extremely confusing. Did you know that 93% of all communication is non-verbal? So what you're saying is only like, I can't math, I flunked out of grade 4 math, like 7%. Yes, take into mind that autistic people often really struggle with communicating and understanding non-verbal cues, meaning that we're missing up to 93% of what a person is saying or doing or initiating or trying to attempt to say. Something that can really help is speaking literally instead of using confusing metaphors, and ways of speaking can really help us, and it's not going to just stop us from getting confused, it's going to stop you from getting confused as well. Everyone's going to be a lot better off and a lot happier. Understand that we're not always going to process what you're saying the same way that you think you're saying. We might process it in a completely different way. Be honest about your feelings and your needs at all times, because this is a two-way thing. A friendship is meant to be a two-way stream. It's meant to be mutual. Be honest about you and your needs and your feelings at all times with no exceptions. If you don't articulate what you want and what you need and how you're feeling, no one's going to understand, especially someone that's on the spectrum. The majority of the time, we are not going to take hints. We are not going to understand metaphors. We are not going to understand radio silence. We need to know where we stand, and we need to know what's going on. Otherwise, one of us is going to get confused, and honestly, it's probably going to end up being both of us, because you're going to suggest something and we're going to not get it, and then you're going to do something else, and then we're not going to get it, and then you're going to get upset with us, and then we don't understand why you're upset with us, and then it's just, look, can you understand where I'm coming from? It's not fun for anyone involved. If you want us there to support you for something, tell us. If we do something that you don't enjoy, tell us. Don't be scared about being honest with us, because that is the key to not just an autistic friendship, but any friendship. We're not going to get silent hints and cues. We need it to be flat out. Number 4. Respect our sensory differences. The world can be a really big, really confusing, really overwhelming place. And sometimes we need that extra space and that extra time alone and that extra time to kind of recalibrate and get ourselves in the right mindset to get back into the world. Autistic people are often really sensitive to sounds, touch, taste, sight, and smell. High-pitched sounds can be painful, itchy fabrics can be extremely intolerable. And sometimes a friendly hug or a friendly handshake or a friendly whatever it is you do when you see your friends again can feel like we're being locked inside of a straitjacket with no escape. It's important for you to accept the need that we have to be able to step out and to be able to take that time to ourselves, to respect our sensory differences and understand that just because we may need some time out, just because we may not want to hug you, just because we may not be able to go to your favorite nightclub or your favorite concert or your favorite whatever with you, it doesn't mean that we don't love and value your friendship. It doesn't mean that we don't feel comfortable with you. It just means that this is the way that our bodies need to process the world, and that's okay, because everyone processes the world differently, and this is far beyond just an autism-based issue. This is an everything issue. Learn to respect our sensory differences, whether or not you understand the direct cause for them. Respect the fact that we know what our bodies and our minds are capable of. Number 5, don't treat your autistic friends like a project. I hate that I have to bring this one up, and I wish this wasn't a thing that I had to bring up, but unfortunately it has happened and continues to happen more times than is okay. I was best friends with someone when I was in high school who used the fact that I was autistic as a crutch. She used it like the fact that she was friends with someone that was autistic like it was a superpower on her behalf, like she was being a good Samaritan for being friends with someone that's autistic. She would tell everyone that she encountered as if the mere fact that being my best friend was such a sacrifice on her behalf. Guaranteed, I got out of that friendship very quickly as soon as I found out. We have spent our entire lives being coddled and ostracized and told that we're not what we're able to be, and told that we can't be what we want to be because of being autistic and because of just having this label stapled to us. We do not need community service friendships. We do not need pity friendships. We do not need to be someone's friend because they see it as a good Samaritan. We do not need to be someone's friend because they see it as their good doing. For any of y'all watching this, I have one thing to say. We are not charity project. If you have a friend that's autistic, if you have a friend that is on the spectrum and you leave them out of events and you bring up the fact that they're autistic, if you don't include them in things that you would include your neurotypical friends in, then maybe you're not friends with them for the right reasons. Number 6. Treat us the same way you would treat any of your other mates. At the end of the day, yes, we are different, and yes, our minds work a little bit differently, and yes, there are some things which maybe you have to be aware of, and maybe you have to be a little bit more understanding and leaning towards, but at the end of the day, we just want to be mates the same way that anyone else does. Be kind, treat us with respect, treat us the way you would treat any of your other mates, and hopefully the way that you treat your other mates is with kindness and is with respect and is with the understanding that we are all different and we are all so diverse with or without autism, and I think that's what makes the world so beautiful. All of your mates are not going to be the same. They might be, and that's your problem, not mine. Just because we are a little bit different, and just because we see the world a little bit differently to perhaps the way that you see the world or your other mates see the world, it doesn't mean that a friendship should be hard or difficult or impossible by any means. If we can all have a love and an understanding of each other as a whole, I think that's when the world's gonna really start working properly. Bottom line is, love each other, respect each other, differences and all, and understand that that is exactly what makes the world such an incredible place. Also, autistic people are fairly wicked as cool people, so not to be biased, just saying, I would highly recommend it. So that is the video for this week. If you want to see more videos like this and more tips and more tricks, please let me know by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you, you can come in if you want. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did like it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I don't mind. Do whatever makes you feel happy. Do whatever makes you feel good. And I will see you guys in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye!
Just be